Hey guys, this is going to be a little bit of a how-to video. Specifically, this goes out for Charles and Mindy at Life Goes North. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show you with just my iPhone how I spread traction sand on the driveway. So you guys will hopefully not have to look at my ugly mug very much, and I'll try to hold the camera still while I'm actually demonstrating how I throw it. Okay, so first, my setup, I've got a 5-gallon bucket with just a simple trowel in it. The one I've got is Corona, and it's a large size. It looks like it's a CT 3260. So what I do is I just grab this, and as I'm going, I will start it here and I will slowly rotate it as I throw it. What that'll do is some will come off of the edge, and then some will come off the normal edge where you would pour stuff out, and then some will come flying off the side due to that momentum and velocity. And as you can see up here, all this stuff that looks like pepper, you know, here is snow without it, with a little bit right there on the edge, fresh snow, and then you've got the ice in the driveway. So I'll try to catch a couple of these so you guys can kind of see what I do. And if you see, it gives a fairly even spread. And then at the end of it, you want to put a little bit of extra power into it. And what it'll do is you'll start here, and that spray will get you a fairly even coverage. And then, so we're looking here, and then going here towards our dumpster, which is community. So I, as the landlord, I'm required to take care of all community spaces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically take this, and so I'm gonna start rotating it, and I'm gonna end with it at 90 degrees to its current position, with, as you look at it, the right side up, and that will just push a lot of it towards that, and will hopefully open up the spread, and we'll see how this one works. And as you can see, it's got a little bit of thickness there to it, but around the edges there it goes. And then what I'll do is I'll come over to this side so that these two looser or less dense areas will roughly equal out. And then I'm going to put it here. You can actually see where when the guys from the refuse company came by and picked it up, and you see where those are. So what I'll do is I'll cover basically both sides and then the center, so that if it's a quick load, they can just come up, open it up, and put it in. And if it's, you know, one of those heavier loads, they can actually stand off here to the side and lift the lid and then put the stuff in. I also find that distance is usually your friend. Use distance, and then, you know, put a little bit more effort into the throw. So that way it disperses it better and you get less density to it. So you can see how well that spread, and then I'll give a couple more of those over there. And yeah, I generally am kind of lazy, and I leave the gravel where it is, and then I just kind of come out and figure out where I need more and spread it out. And you can see the density here. You know, it's a little bit more dense here, and then a little bit less dense here. But also with this being basically just crusted snow, you get a lot better traction in it than you do over here on the hard ice. So it looks like I've got a spot right about here that needs a little bit more, right in this turn lane. I do have to be careful of this turn lane, or not turn lane, but this area, because we've got an uphill coming up the driveway, and then this turn, and then we have, you know, tenant parking over here and tenant parking over there. So I'll get a little bit more right there so that nobody goes off course. And this is, you know, I know that you could probably make a really good pattern for this, and make it really efficient, but I just kind of catch whatever I see that's open as I go through it. That one I angled a lot more into the ground, and then that helps to spread it again. It just helps to disperse it. All those little small imperfections and the sharp angles on the sand will help it to disperse much better. So now we come over here. Looks like I've got a pretty good peppering going up here towards the dumpster. You see right here, it's a little less dense, and then going down here, it's a little less dense. So I'll put one more in this area, and then I'll put a little bit more going down the hill here, because we're supposed to get some rain and snow over the next couple of days. And while snow gives you pretty good traction unless you break through it, we get the freeze-thaw cycles over the course of the day and night, that will, you know, the first night it's going to turn, or the first day it'll turn into water, and then that night it'll turn into ice. And even with this, the sand below the ice, you're still going to get a lot of good traction, just because it creates those imperfections for the sipes on, or the sips on your tires to get to. All right, get that one a little more dense. And then if I find a spot like right here that's just a little, that just has a little less sand density than I want, I'll actually just sprinkle it back and forth off the front and off the sides, because, you know, as you sprinkle, it'll go off the sides and off the front, and that'll get you a little bit better coverage, and it allows you to modulate how much coverage you're giving. So here, going down the driveway, basically what I'll do is I'll just start here with it a little bit curved, and then just fling it and angle it down into the driveway, and we should get decent coverage. And that flicking it at the end, that gives you that kind of circular spread, very similar to what a commercial sand sprayer would give you. And looks like we need probably one more down this driveway so that people get good traction right before they start into the turn. And again, same thing. All right, a little dense in the center. I'll probably put one more on each side. And that should give us pretty good coverage. And if you notice, I'm going to start off here. So it's actually, I'm actually at about a 15-degree offset from it. Down there, one more on the far side, and we should be good. As far as the amount you use, you know, how dense you want your spread is going to be up to you. But I find out that it takes me about 30 pounds or so to do the driveway and the parking area up here. And that density of it takes about 30 to 60 pounds depending on how much of it is still out there and how much isn't. So right now I used, looks like I used about 2/3 of this. And so the 2/3 of this is going to be about 40 pounds or so. Again, I'm not real, you know, I don't measure it real well. I just kind of go, you know, and look at it, how it looks or how it feels as I'm walking on it or driving on it. And then in order to keep it from becoming ice, because it will if you don't take care of it, put the top back on. We have found that using paint buckets, because they come with a really nice replaceable lid, those work really well. As you can see, I've got a couple more bags sitting here. I've got a 1/3 of a bag in there. I've got 3 more bags sitting here, and then I've also got 4 bags in the back of my truck just to help with weight distribution. So I hope this helps. I know it's been a while coming since I said I would get it, but I wanted to make sure I had a really good ice flow, or not ice flow, but a really good covering of ice out here, so I could really show it and how well that traction sand, you know, bounces across. I will see if I can't come up the stairs, and you can see kind of, and I'll try to show you that difference again between, you know, the clean or mostly clean snow, and then that grayness, and how, you know, how the traction sand works pretty well to do it. Oh, something else for everybody to see. Look at this one. Something from Hornady in Grand Isle, Nebraska. That's interesting. I wonder what that could be. So as you guys look down, you know, and you see the difference up here between, you know, for our purposes today, between clean snow and then all this ice. And you see, I try to make it a pretty easy covering. Try to make it, you know, I try to increase or decrease the density as I see fit. So if you see over here where people are going to be walking, I tried to, you know, it's a little bit more dense. And then some of these places where it's, you know, car tires, which have a lot bigger footprint and there's more of them than our feet, it's a little bit less dense. I hope this helps everybody. And if you guys have any additional ways of doing this that don't require the purchase of anything other than you would normally use. So if you have a dual purpose item, like maybe you found a way to use a grass seed spreader or something like that, please let us know. You know, that'll be great as far as actually, you know, incorporating that into our systems. And that could be helpful to everyone. So please, if you have a better way to spread sand without buying a truck spreader or, you know, something like that, please tag this video and, you know, make your own, demonstrate it, show us what you got, and tag this one. And until that, let's see how it turns out.